Shall I give an update? Does anyone care?
Yeah, I mean...
I'm way ahead.
Yeah. Finn's 18 weeks out.
17 and a half.
Push harder, bro.
I'm too late.
No, how many you got a deload coming up, haven't you?
Yeah.
When's that?
It actually aligns with my birthday quite nicely.
17th.
Yeah, well, I'm going away. Shannon booked for us to go away.
17th or the 5th, 97.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I booked Finn's flights today to Poland.
And you got it right.
Yeah, and I was
you got that right, but you got your own middle name wrong.
I didn't type it in.
Willem.
Willem, yeah, Willem for some reason.
Reese Willem.
But to be fair, my middle name wasn't even William.
Why didn't you put my middle name in there?
Don't know what your name is. Is it George?
No.
Finn? Steve? It's something basic, isn't it? Finn. It's. I think it's really. Isn't it really like pretty?
Steve Kelly.
No, it's something like. I'm pretty sure it's something pretty like Paul or something like really basic. What is it?
Alexander.
Oh yeah, it is, isn't it? I should know that. Yeah.
I didn't know yours. I don't think you've ever told me yours.
Well, you know what? My original name was Reese Billy Lynn. That was my original name, and then my grandma changed it when my dad died, because they took me on holiday, and it was apparently really awkward to be like Pearson Lynn, your 1-year-old. Like, is this your kid? It was apparently really awkward, and then like I had to go through, there was loads of questioning, and then they were like, yeah, his dad's dead. So, and they were like, okay, cool, you can pass with your son.
That's all right,
kid.
then.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
so
you get let off for everything because your dad's dead. That's not fair.
Apparently, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, mate. Hopefully, I hope your dad dies.
Yeah.
Please die. Maybe I'll get let off. So anyway,
Get away with anything.
my grandma changed my name. She thought for some reason my middle name was like William, because Billy, William, similar. So my name is Reese William Pearson, but originally it was Reese Billy Lynn. So
Reese Billy Lynn.
yeah. What's the Lynn? Is it F2? Something Lynn. F2.
Jeremy Lynch. And everybody hates it.
Lynch. Yeah. Swaz Lynch. Swaz Lynn. Reese Swaz Lynn. Oh,
You said mine was Steve as well.
Anyway, so
Steve
Finn
or Paul.
Alexander Kelly is 17 and a half weeks out. You have a deload lined up for your
Finn Steve
birthday.
Kelly,
You having a diet break over that period where you give up some pints?
The plan wasn't to have a diet break. If I'm a bit ahead, I might say to Shannon, like, do you want to go for a meal? Potentially for my birthday, it'd be quite nice. That's like one of the...
When you subscribe, guys, if you can, make sure to hit the notification bell. That'd be fantastic, just so you're fully notified whenever we upload a video.
Well, to be fair, that's not why I wanted to be ready really early, or at least ahead of the game and give myself plenty of time, but I quite like that. And I think as well, like, similar to what obviously we're doing with the burger tonight, I'm getting involved.
Yeah.
You'll see me in there. But no, like, with clients, for example, like, let's say in a couple of months' time, like, I have a few clients that are quite ahead. Like, I'll happily say, yeah, go for a meal tonight. Like, go and enjoy it. Like, and I think
we said this in Liverpool. I remember when we were walking up, to the comedy club, and we I feel like we're never going to be the kind of like BBs, coaches, to be like, yeah, bro, go get a meal. But I do think there should be some balance between a prep is a prep, and a prep should always take priority. But if you can plan certain things to kind of alleviate some stress... Yeah,
that's what it is. I think what the difference is that, like, for example, if a client just messaged me and said, oh, mate, I'm really struggling, can I have a meal tonight? I'd say no.
No,
get a grip. But if I said to them, I can tell you're struggling, you're very flat, you're ahead, your training's dropped off a bit this week, go out with your partner, with your family, go and enjoy a meal. And that even just that, really, that brings people out of a hole and makes them feel really good. Like, obviously you've got to manage it, because you could put on a lot of fat in one meal if you're not careful. Like, if you just go, oh, I'm allowed to go out for a meal, and you go crazy and you force feed yourself to have like 10,000 calories, like, you go for a meal, then you come home and you get Ben and Jerry's, then you get cookies. Like, no, you get cookie dealer. That's not what we're saying. Like, we're saying, yeah, go out for a meal, like, have this. Like, I'd probably kind of give them a bit of a like idea as to what I'd say to have, and enjoy it. Like, and I think that can help a lot throughout a prep, especially if you've given yourself plenty of time and you're ready pretty early, or you're close to ready pretty early. That's good, and it's data for when you're filling up. So, but yeah, basically I am 17 and a half weeks out from the first show, but again, that's not the main show. That is the BNBF Northern qualifier. So I need to be good for it. Like, obviously I want to qualify, but I don't need to be 100% for it. That's not the plan. The plan is to be like 100% for the final shows, which is what, the back end of September. To be fair, back end of September to the back end of October. That's when I need to be like pretty much 100%. But yeah, I have a deload in it's like 2-3 weeks time. This week and then 2 more weeks, and then that would be the deload week. That was planned initially to have like an 8-week stint and then a deload.
Mine was similar.
Still lose fat in that deload. Like, I've not planned a diet break, but if I'm quite far ahead, which I imagine I will be, then depending on how I'm feeling, how I'm looking, I might say to Shannon, like, right, over this deload, probably on the Sunday night, just because then it'd carry over to my training day, I'd say let's go for a meal. Or I might just increase the food on those days.
I would have done that personally. I dropped 2.5 kilos. I took 4 days off, similar 8 weeks into my prep. Yeah. And I like looked back and I saw the trends, and I was like, in theory, because I remember coming back into the gym and I felt just a little bit like, obviously I dropped off a good amount of body weight at that point. I wasn't ahead, but I was ahead relative to, like, I wasn't ahead on my plan, but I was ahead in comparison to what I could have been. And like I literally wrote down next time / like data, most likely increase.
It's a bit more difficult when it's a shorter prep as well.
Yeah, exactly. My prep was more aggressive than Finn's, but it was a case where like I looked at my trends and it was like deload, big weight drop, and then unfortunately it carried on. So it was like, okay, I pulled off like, I think in 12 days it was like 4 kilos, and I was like, okay, maybe a little bit too much.
You're always going to see body weight drop over a deload anyway, but I think.
But when it continues afterwards.
Yeah, and like, one of the reasons as well, like when people come back in the gym after a deload and don't feel great, is that you've probably dropped off, obviously you've dropped off a good amount of fullness, but also you've got a bit less body weight. Yeah, you've dropped off a lot of fatigue, but you've also got to get sort of accustomed to training again. Even though it might be 4 to 7 days that you've taken off, that's still time that you've not been training, you've not been sort of running through those movement patterns. But also if you've lost, let's say, 2 to 5 pounds, which it can be the case, like easily, you're probably not going to feel amazing when you get back in the gym. So yeah, like I've not decided anything like that yet. Like ultimately I know that I'm going to deload at that point, whether I feel great or not. Like I've already structured that in. The only reason I would change that is if I deload earlier. If I feel absolutely trashed earlier, I'd just deload earlier. But the plan is there to deload that week. And when I actually set it up, I didn't even realise that it was my birthday. Like I was like, I just put, cool, that's 8 weeks deload. Like turns out it's my birthday week, so I'm going to get absolutely smashed. But no, Shannon's like booked an Airbnb down south for the weekend. So well, I think it's just for the Saturday night, but it looks quite cool, the place. So yeah, maybe like we might do something like go for a meal that Saturday night, or even just get a meal in like on that Saturday.
What date is this?
This is the back end of the 20th, 21st. It's just before we go to qualify.
That's like in between like my qualifier and then we'll fly.
But the plan was always to deload then anyway, and then I'll just, based on where I'm at, I'll see what I'm doing. Like I plan on being just like sub 180 by that point.
Now? Just so we
184.25 this morning.
Okay. Yeah.
And like I wrote on my notes yesterday. Yesterday was the first day that I actually felt flat when I was posing. But I didn't feel flat when I was training. I got a good pump after training, but then when I posed, I just felt pretty flat. That's the first time. But like, that is what it is. Of course, I'm going to be flat at points. Like, I'm not going to go, oh my god. I just made a note of it. It's good to have those notes.
You don't fancy a Five Guys with me tonight?
Yeah, I do fancy it, mate. Don't tell people. I'm going to do that.
That's why Finn, I didn't want
I actually had
Finn
one
was
last night because I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah, Finn was like, Five Guys tomorrow night, mate. And then he was like, mate, I might come.
No, I was actually talking about me, and then you went, what, for me? I went, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Mate, I had one planned as well. Yeah, what time are you going, bro? That's what it was.
I think at that point, if I do think, right, I'm well ahead, I feel good, like I'm looking pretty good, I can afford to, enjoy a meal with Shannon. Like I think it's worth it as well. Like not for Shannon's sake, but like she's paying for us to go away for my birthday. Like it'd be nice to say, "Do you want to go for a meal?" Like, and she'd be like, "Really?" Like it'd be quite cool for her. She'd be like, if you were to ask Shannon, she'd say, "Not in a million years would Finn go for a meal throughout prep." She'd be like, "No chance." She would be like, "No, he won't." Like. But that's why I've kind of set it out like this, so you can have that chance.
I'm not going with Sanaya, but Sanaya was like stunned.
When she's fuming that she's not going.
No. She was literally like, she'd been telling me all week, like she was like, I think you need to eat. And then when I told her,
she's been telling you all week, even though Monday she thought you were really full.
Apparently, but yeah, she's been telling me for the last 2 weeks. She was like, I think you could be like full, which we know. But and then I said to her, oh, yeah, we're going to get food tomorrow. She was like, good. Like, but she was surprised. She was like, well done, because she knows how I am. I'm like, nah.
But the thing is, you don't need to get a burger.
No.
Like, we could easily just drastically increase your food.
Yeah.
Like, and you would get fuller.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's different ways of doing it. Like,
yes, guys, if you are enjoying the podcast, then please head down to the links below where you've got my own and Reese's own YouTube channels where you can follow us along there too.
Like, it's not as if like, oh, you have to get a Five Guys or you have to get sushi to get full. Like, no. You don't. You just need enough time, and you need to actually work your food up and drop off fatigue.
Yeah.
Like if we were to say in the next, let's say you didn't get a burger tonight, yeah, and in the next, don't worry, mate, I'm not taking it away from you.
Can we stop talking about burgers? This is a burger podcast.
Let's say you didn't. Let's say you didn't go tonight.
Yeah.
then we would probably, back today we said anyway, we would have had a high day.
Yeah.
So you'd have had 600 today.
Yeah.
You'd have probably maintained weight,
Yeah.
maybe gone up a little bit, because
Yeah.
you usually do after a Thursday, not a Sunday.
Yeah.
Then we'd have had higher food tomorrow, not full refeed, but it'd have been like 500, 600.
Yeah.
You'd have had the same again, maybe more the day after.
Then Sunday, Monday.
Sunday would have
Yeah.
been higher again, probably another 500, 600, maybe
Yeah.
rest day. Monday would be higher again. By, let's say, Wednesday, Thursday, you're probably looking at having at least, probably by that point, you're having like 1,500 carbs every couple of days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, you're not going to be flat. You probably still wouldn't be full,
yeah.
but this is the first show.
Yeah.
The goal would be, see how you look at the first show, and then go, okay, yeah, you were a little bit flat, or yeah, you were pretty much bang on, you could have been a bit fuller, or if you spilled, we go, okay, you were a bit spilled, it's PCA, you still fucking look better than everyone else.
Yeah.
And then when the second main show, or the first main show out of the two comes around, we can then fine tune it a bit more.
Exactly.
Like, that's the whole point of having that first show, is that we can go into it with a little bit of a, well, you can play around and not go into it worrying. Like,
Yeah.
even if you were to spill by like 2 or 3 kilos for PCA, you'd probably still win.
Yeah.
And that's no disrespect to anyone turning up, but you've seen the standard and people that win the PCA shows.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got a decent amount of muscle, you're probably going to win.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're a bit fat.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
you'd be fine. So, like, you can, even on the other hand of that, you would probably, at the PCA, even if you were quite flat, you'd probably still win.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, I was for the first show.
Yeah.
Like, I was ridiculously flat. You know.
Yeah, but I think even, yeah, like obviously the standard, you'd imagine it'd be a bit different at this
Yeah,
one because it's not a first timers.
yeah.
But I think you would still, unless there's someone really good turns up, even if you went and
No,
competed
but if
tomorrow
let's say,
morning.
for example, in the finals, if Axel didn't turn up, I think I would have had I would have been close in the overall out of the people that won the classes at the finals. Like,
Yeah,
because I was
he won it, didn't he?
Yeah, he won the whole
Yeah.
thing. So, and I was a lot ahead of everyone else in the junior class. You know.
Guy came third.
Oh, the guy came third.
He
Who put the the guy came third. Who put the photo comparison up, and he was lucky to even get top 3. Bless him. Bless him. Shout out, AM something, whatever his name is. Yeah. Anyway, carrying on. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much prep update for both of us.
Prep update,
mine's
guys.
ages away, obviously, like in terms of shows. So it's not really a prep.
Mine's
Just
not
like-
really ages away. So.